How to be Indie in Brazil. A weekly show by Geisa Fernandes.
Episode 23. Searching for the perfect setlist. I remember this picture I saw once from a skeleton sitting in a mixing room, and then the subtitle, trying to get the perfect mixing. Maybe it's internal jokes from musicians, but if you ever had a chance of following the work that goes on a mixing room, well, then you certainly got the joke. Mixing is a very, very stressful job, and thanks God there are these great professionals that can do this for us. But let's talk about another stressful, infuriating activity that is also part of the game of earning the artist/musician. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but does anybody else also hate setting the set list? I mean, hate is not the appropriate word. It's not really a bad feeling. It's just very difficult and sometimes also painful. You know, I see the repertoire of an artist as part of its signature. So anytime that you have to face things that you must include and things that you gotta leave outside, well, for me, it's quite of a hard task. Maybe because it's about making choices, and making choices is always difficult. Doesn't matter which kind of choices you are making. But then, when you were thinking about that 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, doesn't matter the time of your show, but it will be always a limited amount of time, and you have to make the best out of it. And let's be sincere here, a set list can be the main reason for success, or it can be the very element that puts your performance down. It doesn't matter if you are starting with a concept, with an idea, because the greatest idea, if it cannot be translated into the right songs, well, then you have a problem, because you won't be able to actually make a storytelling out of it, and you won't be able to engage, to connect with your audience. On the other hand, if you have, let's say, a must-do set list for any reason, because you are following the script written by someone else, or because you are presenting an album and you have to include a certain number of songs of the album to the audience, even in that situation, you need to be very careful by not putting too many sad songs together, let's say, or starting with the song that you're supposed to end with. And how am I supposed to know if this is the starting song or the ending song? Well, this is the kind of thought you must have. What kind of story am I trying to build here? Again, which story am I trying to tell here with the songs connected to each other into a certain way and not another, in a certain order and not another? And this is so important. This is the difference between someone that plays for a hobby, so a hobby musician, and an indie artist. Get the difference? Huge, isn't it? And most important, what I'm saying here is valid for both big, huge, Hollywood-like gigs, and also that small, more frequent ones that may not change your life, but, well, are also part of your story, so take good care of them. Your future self will certainly thank you for that. Well, before telling you about the final treat, I would like to do something a little bit unusual. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for Puerto Anónimo for including me in their list of great talents of South America. Did you realize I said great talents? They didn't call me a talent, they called me one of the great talents of South America. Thank you very much, Puerto Anónimo. And Thank you. Also, Japan. Yes, I've been recommending a few Japanese lists. And Japan is a very good friend of Brazilian bossa nova and Brazilian music in general. It was quite an honor being included on their lists. And now to the final treat. I've been talking about this song in other episodes, and it's on my next release called So Now. And the reason why I'm particularly fond of the song, it's because it's a collaboration with Edgar Allan Poe himself. Yeah, that's right. Let me explain. I love this poem, The Raven, the one with the raven that keeps on repeating nevermore and nevermore. What I did was basically taking the poem exactly as it is, with the same words, the very, very, very same poem, and just read it out loud, in a kind of rap way, in a kind of almost singing way. Well, it turned out to be a free jazz piece, and I really liked the result. That's your final treat for today. Check it out and think about that setlist thing. It's really important. So again, thanks a lot for staying with me. Till next week. And for now, beijo!
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I wandered weak and weary over many acquaintance curious volumes of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber's door. "There's some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber's door. This it is, and nothing more. And the silken satin certain rustling off each purple curtain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. So that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating that some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more. And the raven never fleeting, still is sitting on the ballad bust of ballads just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight of his dreaming throws his shadow on the floor. Much I marvel at this ungainly foe, to hear discourse so plainly, though his answers little meaning, little relevance bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird upon his chamber door. Bird or beast upon the sculpture bust upon his chamber door, with such a name as Nevermore. And the raven never fleeting, still is sitting on the ballad bust of ballads just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight of his dreaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore, shall be lifted nevermore, nevermore, shall be lifted nevermore.
How to be Indie in Brazil. A weekly show by Geisa Fernandes.